Youcat, question number 357. Is atheism always a sin against the first commandment? Atheism is not a sin if a person has learned nothing about God or has examined the question about God's existence conscientiously and cannot believe. The line between being unable to believe and being unwilling to believe is not clear. The attitude that simply dismisses faith as unimportant without having examined it more closely is often worse than well considered atheism. Blaise Pascal would say, unbelievers are the most credulous of all. Question number 358. Why does the Old Testament forbid images of God? Why do we Christians no longer keep that commandment? In order to protect the mystery of God, and to set the people of Israel apart from the idolatrous practices of the pagans. The first commandment said, "You shall not make for yourself a graven image." We see that in the book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 4. However, since God Himself acquired a human face in Jesus Christ, the prohibition against images was repealed in Christianity. In the Eastern Church, icons are even regarded as sacred. The knowledge of the patriarchs of Israel that God surpasses everything and is much greater than anything in the world lives on today in Judaism as in Islam, where no image of God is or ever was allowed. In Christianity, in light of Christ's life on earth, the prohibition against images was mitigated from the 4th century on and was abolished at the Second Council of Nicaea. By His incarnation, God is no longer absolutely unimaginable. After Jesus, we can picture what He is like. He who has seen me has seen the Father, says the Gospel of John, chapter 14, verse 9. Question number 359. Why does God want us to hallow His name? That is, keep it holy. To tell someone your name is a sign of trust. Since God has told us His name, He makes Himself recognizable and grants us access to Him through this name. God is absolute truth. Someone who calls truth himself by his name but uses it to testify to a lie sins seriously. One must not pronounce the name of God irreverently, for we know Him only because He has entrusted Himself to us. The holy name, after all, is the key to the heart of the Almighty. Therefore, it is a terrible offense to blaspheme God, to curse using God's name, or to make false promises in His name. The second commandment is therefore also a commandment that protects holiness in general. Places, things, names, and people who have been touched by God are holy. Sensitivity to what is holy is called reverence. Question number 360. What is the meaning of the sign of the cross? Through the sign of the cross, we place ourselves under the protection of the triune God. At the beginning of the day, at the beginning of a prayer, but also at the beginning of important undertakings, a Christian makes the sign of the cross over himself and thus starts his business in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. We are surrounded on all sides by the triune God. Calling upon him by name sanctifies the things we set out to do. It obtains blessings for us and strengthens us in difficulties and temptations. Saint Cyril of Jerusalem says, "Let us not be ashamed to profess the crucified one. Let us confidently seal our forehead with our fingers. Let's make the sign of the cross on everything, on the bread we eat and over the cup we drink. Let us make this sign as we come and go, before sleeping, when we lie down, and when we arise, while traveling and while resting." Question number 361. What does it mean for a Christian to be baptized with a particular name? In the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, the person is baptized with a name. The name and the face are ultimately what make a person unique, even in God's sight. "Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. You are mine." We see this in the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 1. Christians treat the name of a person reverently because the name is profoundly connected with that person's identity and dignity. From time immemorial, Christians have selected names for their children from the list of the saints. They do so in the belief that the patron saint is an example for them and will intercede with God for them in a special way. God bless you all.